In these problems, we're doing some work with negative and fractional exponents. The first one says, identify the simplified form of the expression 27 to the negative 1/3 power. And I like to take this in two steps. First, let's deal with the negative. Anything to the negative power is 1 over itself to that power. So if I had x to the negative 1, that's 1 over x to the positive 1. So let's try that with this one. 27 to the negative 1/3. Let's just do the negative part. I'm going to change that into 1 over 27 to the 1/3 power. And then the way these fractional powers work, 1/2 is the square root. 1/3 is the cube root. 1/4 is the fourth root. So really what this is 1 over the cube root of 27, which is 1 over 3. And that is 27 to the negative 1/3 power simplified. Okay, let's look at this next one. It says identify the simplified form of the expression. So we've got all of this messy stuff in here. We've got negative power up on the top here. We've got fractional powers and all these variables. And then we're raising the whole thing to the 6th. What I think I would do first is raise each of these items, each of these terms to the 6th power, because I think that'll get rid of our fractions. And remember, when you raise a power to a power, you're multiplying the exponents. So 6 times 11/2, that would be 66 halves, or 33. So that would be x to the 33rd. And let's see, y to the negative 1/2 times 6, that's going to be y to the negative 6/2, or y to the negative 3. Z to the 1/3 times 6, so that's going to be 6/3, or z to the 2nd. Let's go down to the bottom now. X to the 1/3 raised to the 6th power is going to be x squared. And y to the 2/3 raised to the 6th power is going to be y to the 4th. Now, much simpler to work with. We've just got whole numbers for exponents. One thing I want to deal with is this negative power here. And what I can do is I can take this y to the negative 1/3 and bring it down here and change its sign. So it would be like multiplying this by y to the positive 3rd down here. And when you multiply, you add exponents. So this is going to come out, this part right here is going to come out to y to the 7th. So, and then at the same time, I've got x to the 33 on top, x to the 2nd on the bottom. If I would move that up, it would become x to the negative 2, and we would simply have x to the 31 up there. Another way to think about that is you're dividing x to the 33rd by x squared, so you're subtracting exponents. 33 minus 2 is 31. So on top, we're going to have x to the 31st. This one went down, so we're not going to have a y term up there. Z to the 2nd, and then on the bottom, y to the 7th. So that's usually what they're looking for with a simplified form of the expression, no negative exponents. All right, let's try one more, and this one is a pretty tricky one. This one says simplify by writing the expression as a single quotient in which only positive exponents appear. And I've got this complicated looking fraction. I've got 9 minus x squared all to the 1/2 power plus 7x squared times 9 minus x squared to the negative 1/2 power. And on the bottom of the fraction, 9 minus x squared. Now when you see a fraction like this, to simplify it, typically you're going to multiply it by something that would help things work out. And it's going to be a form of the number 1, because we don't want to really change this. So maybe I would multiply by x over x, or maybe I would multiply by 9x minus squared over 9x minus squared. In this case, I want to try to get rid of this negative exponent. So I'm going to multiply by 9 minus x squared to the positive 1/2. And of course, I have to put that on the bottom too, so that this is equal to 1. Now, why did I choose 9 minus x squared to the positive 1/2? Well, here we have 9 minus x squared to the negative 1/2. That's our negative exponent, and that's trouble. I want to get rid of them. And when I do this, when I multiply, I'm going to add exponents. Well, a negative 1/2 and a positive 1/2 would end up having an exponent of 0. So this quantity here, once I multiply this there, is going to equate to 1, because anything to the 0 power is 1. So that's going to simplify things and get rid of that negative exponent. So let's do this. I want to multiply, I have to multiply this by each term, and I've got two terms here. There's this term and this term on the top. So I multiply it there. 9 minus x squared to the 1/2 times 9 minus x squared to the 1/2 is 9 minus x squared to the 1. So we just adding the exponents. Now I've got plus, and I've got my 7x squared, and 9 minus x squared to the 1/2 times 9 minus x squared to the negative 1/2 is 9 minus x squared to the 0. And I mentioned that's 1. We'll simplify that in a second. And then I have to do the multiplication on the bottom here too. So 9 minus x squared times 9 minus x squared to the 1/2 is going to be, well, you can think of this as 9 minus x squared to the first power. When you add a half to that, you're going to get 9 minus x squared to the 3/2 power. And that's okay. You're allowed to do that. Now, just to simplify up here, this chunk is 1. So 1 times 7x squared is just 7x squared. So it's like we get rid of that. The top here is going to be 9 minus x squared. I don't need to keep this in the parentheses since this is just to the first power. Plus 7x squared over 9 minus x squared to the 3/2. And then I can do just a bit more simplification here. I've got a negative x squared and a positive 7x squared. So really this is 9 plus 6x squared over 9 minus x squared to the 3/2 power. And that is our final simplified answer. So that's a little bit of work with negative and fractional exponents.